This video shows the various steps used to create an abstract image. Here is a picture of the image. To start creating the image, I began with a bit of static audio as source inspiration, you might say. I will play back on speakers the original static audio and record this playback to get a distorted, redubbed recording. Right now I will show the visual waveform of this starting audio in Audacity. So, this was what was fed into the speakers and recorded. I will now show the output that was recorded in Audacity from the speakers. With this recorded session, I then further edited the mix with Audacity tools and various accessory VST plugins named Gorgon and Crush. I will now show the distortion editing results in a file named Audio and Image Work 8 48 kHz 24-bit wave. Here I will load the audio into Audacity as a waveform, and you can listen to it. What needs to next be done is to rename the file extension of the audio so we can take the raw bit data and load it into the application named GIMP, an application similar to Photoshop. Here we rename it to a .data format file. And now I will load the GIMP application. With GIMP open, I will import the data audio file as a planar Roy G. Biv type bitmap image with a resolution of 9870 by 9698. Here now is the image rendered visually. From here at this point, we will load the GMIC reflection filter tool under GIMP. By the way, GMIC is an open source pictures effects tool library. The filter is going to start running now. Now that the filter has finished processing, we will choose a dark green background HTML color with the HTML code 485E4F, a dark green background color, and we will flatten the image and merge the layers together. Now we can view the image result of the filter. Now I must mention that I actually have a better originally preserved snapshot image copy here with the file name more fitting image work 8 derivative element diffraction 6512x11920 ping. It comes from when I originally undertook to create the copyrighted work, whose production method is currently being reviewed. I will go ahead and switch now to the original precise rendition to help bring forth the best results from here on out. The next step is to scale the image down to a new resolution of 9870 by 9698. Now we will flatten this image and save it with the file name overlay applied item number 1.xcf, which is a standard GIMP file format. Now I will close this image project. Now the next thing we must do is go on a little side mission. It involves two simple substeps done to synthesize a new image. Substep number 1. Go into a local folder containing two randomly generated static filled bitmap images. The first file begins with the heading noise segment first. The second file begins with the heading noise segment second. Now substep 2 begins. These two files are going to be used in a Python script creating a new image file. This is going to be done by performing bitwise XOR operations on the bits between these two files. The output will be saved in a file named XOROP produces overlay work 9870 by 9698.data. Here is an open text file containing the code of the script. I am opening a copy of the first input file. I'm now going to open a copy of the second input picture file. I now need to compose a shell command to execute the Python script. A parameter needs to be given for the two inputs and the output file. This is how it looks to have the code set up in a dummy window. This is how the shell command looks when it's about to be executed. I will not actually go about executing it here because it takes too much time for demonstration in this video. The resultant terminal text output is shown here. I will now open the resultant output image file. Wait a little bit while the image pop-up gets ready. The synthesized staticky image rendering is now shown. The title of the new image is XOR Op produces overlay work 9870 by 9698.data. The next thing to do is make a copy of this image and then navigate up one folder directory higher and paste it there. We will now go back to working on the original project at hand. Once again though, we will be making a synthesized image from two image inputs. The second input image is the one just created, named XOR Op produces overlay work.data. The first input image was the one created originally a while back called more fitting image work 8.data. The output image will be named out1 overlay item.data. We now need to demonstrate running the Python script in the terminal. However, I am not actually going to run the script in this video due to time constraints. Here is the script's text output when run earlier at a previous time. We now can view this newly created image output file. I will open it in GIMP with the resolution 9870 by 9698 in standard RGB color space. Here is the image. Now we need to open the earlier saved XCF GIMP image file titled overlay applied item number 1. We will copy the entire canvas of out1 overlay item.png and paste it into overlay applied item number 1.xcf as a new top layer. Then we will set the top layer's blending mode to overlay with a configured opacity of 53.0 in overlay applied item number 1. And we will flatten it all down to one layer. Next up, we will open up the image named XOR Op produces overlay work and copy the entire canvas as a new top layer into the work we are working on called overlay applied item number 1.xcf. We will set the top layer's blending mode to linear burn with a configured opacity of 11.0. We will flatten the layers. then close the document XOR op produces overlay work.png, as well as the other no longer used image documents. Now we will go about using a GIMP color effects filter called Hue Saturation Adjuster, and a preset titled Tentative 001 will be used. Now we will use another GIMP color effects filter called Levels Adjuster, and a preset titled Tentative 002 will be used. Now, the last thing to do is to flatten the image and save the project. We will go on now to export the finished image document to the file named completed image 9870x9698.png. Now we can move ahead to compare the reproduced item to the one that was originally made and see how they resemble one another. Now I'm just going to close some of the windows that may still be open in this methodically approached review that covered in general the underlying design approach used in creating the original image. I'm going to bring up the document that kind of discusses how the XOR method of bitwise operations affects the visual pictures and how it works.